Fans either high or low, depending on how well your team played this weekend. That feeling is probably multiplied if you had money in the game.
Wagering is as old as the game of pigskin itself, but the money is now riding in places you wouldn't expect. High school stadiums. Tonight, KXAN's Chris Sadeghi investigates where it's happening and if the bets are stepping out of bounds.
Now, a KXAN News investigation.
The game has changed. It's not always about winning or losing, but how many fantasy points did you score? For some fans, football isn't just about bragging rights.
In our league, we do about $100 a person.
Sean Dixon is one of 32 million people who play fantasy sports, and there are thousands of others who are closely watching point spreads and over-unders. It's a way to make every game a big game.
A little wager always makes it a little more exciting.
It's an industry worth billions of dollars, and it has now found its way to a place you won't find on the Vegas Strip. On August 27th, Lake Travis defeated the Westlake Chaparrals 35-7, but what most fans at the stadium that night did not know, somebody somewhere likely cashed in. No, not because Lake Travis won, but because they covered the 14-point spread.
When you start throwing points in with money, I think it crosses the line.
It's morally troubling to fans like Bob Witowski, and believe it or not, it's a line even Sin City chooses not to step over. But for Costa Rican-based online sportsbook 5dimes.com, right there next to the NFL and college games, you'll find high school games being handicapped.
My first reaction is non-belief.
But we spoke to a representative at 5 Dimes who told us they've been putting spreads on high school games since 2007 and perhaps even earlier. And they've grown more popular for those making picks. And the thing making it all possible is exposure.
There's so many outlets now and opportunities for teams to be displayed on regional TV.
Steve Gideon coached high school football for 30 years and does color commentary for high school broadcasts today. He knows when the cameras come on at a high school, it puts everything under a magnifying glass. And on 5dimes.com, every game with a point spread this weekend was being broadcast on a network.
People are becoming calloused, you know, that betting can enter into just about anything.
Here goes Gideon. Say goodnight to this one.
As a coach and father, Gideon knows the power of television. In 2007, his son Blake had one of the best games of his life in a game broadcast by a regional network. Blake is now a Texas Longhorn, and Steve says that is what coaches, principals, and administrators try to focus on to keep the wagering out of the game.
Are we representing our community? Are we playing the game of football? Are we giving back to the game of football? And those are the things that I think that are important. We never need to lose sight of that.
Even if everyone is watching or if someone is wagering. Chris Sadeghi, KXAN News.
5dimes.com initially stopped taking bets on high school games after getting some negative backlash, but there were several games available to wager on this past weekend.